This is a Frank podcast.
This Warriors Live Podcast 2026, episode 25. Will Evans, Brad Larking, and Fonzie here for a rare pre-record, actually. And just pretty much getting back to our old school setup. And Brad has just gone back to form. He hasn't done any faux pas, nothing that could cause controversy on a live recording one. I've been very proud of him. And first time we come back to a pre-record, and I think over the top of the intro, he's gone, I just don't want to fucking touch anything because he's having a few tech issues and creates some editing work for me. So
I knew as soon as I spat that out, I looked in the red corner at the little red light. I was like, shit. I'm happier to know that it's pre-record. Yeah, you'll tidy that up, mate. At least you know where it is, right at the very start.
Yeah, that's a bit easier. Brought to you by Kingz Container Crew, of course, our favorite company, really, but it's definitely our favorite container crew outfit. Devanning specialist, the best in the biz for all your container packing, unpacking solutions. Head to kingscontainercrew.com and the Work With Us tab if you want to gig with those guys. Also brought to you by PlaceMakers, New Zealand's experts in the trade, best trade range in New Zealand since 1981. Thanks, PlaceMakers. And only a couple of weeks away till Brad and I will be sidling up to the PlaceMakers Legends lunch in Christchurch at One New Zealand Stadium before the game here against Cowboys. So it's all happening. So, we're in a bye week.
It's a busy week.
I feel like we need this bye week just to prepare for the hecticness coming up.
I'm liking the placement of the buys over the next wee weeks because it's a pretty intense season. What do you think? Are you enjoying the bye weeks, Fonz? How are you, mate? Coming in from Australia.
Yeah, well, I went to the game on the weekend, and more than happy to have a bye off the back of that one because that was a great experience going to that game, and really enjoyed the way they played. And for a loss, it's probably the most positive I've ever been after a loss, and so rolling that into a bye, it's fine with me. Plenty more to say.
I'm still a bad loser, I was still a bit sulky. Probably like a loss. I didn't take it well, even though I've just watched highlights again this afternoon. Jesus, we done well, didn't he? That was a game and a half. There was some points left out there from both teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the tough one. We know we definitely could have won that. Obviously, a couple left out there in the first half. Laban and taking on Edwards towards the end. If we score there, it's we've got one hand on a victory there. Penrith were so good still, and just did. I think both teams were sensational, and I think they just won the big moments a little bit better than we did in the end.
Yeah,
great. Great body.
How was game day experience, Fonz? How did it go down, brother?
Mate, it was fantastic, and it was, very old school for me. So one of my mates lives in the Parramatta area. So like me and probably my 4 or 5 closest high school mates just all went to his place. We had a barbie through the Arvo because it was 6 o'clock kickoff for us. So with the families, had a barbie through the Arvo, a couple of beers, and then we walked down to the stadium through Parramatta Park with the kids. Wife stayed back, probably having a wine and also having a drink as well. And then we got in there and in the group there was myself, one of my best mates who's a Panthers fan, like diehard Panthers. Another bloke who's a diehard Tiger. 2 blokes who are diehard Tigers, and then like a bit of a casual para fan, let's call it, like the bloke who lives there. So bit of a mixed group. And everybody in that second half, because the game totally changed. First half was a very tight game, like as in it was played tight. It was played in the middle third. It was strangled, the game. Second half, the game just opened up. You could really see it. And in that second half, everybody, including the neutrals, were just loving it, like rolling with it. It was just such a good quality of football, such an open brand of football. And, we got to the end and like the Panthers fan sitting next to me, he was scared shitless that we were going to win that game. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't a game where the Panthers were like, yeah, we're going to see them off. Not at all. Like this was genuinely two equals going at it. And at the end, we both agreed, like, you play that game 10 times, we win 5, they win 5. You know, that's the truth of it. So, I mean, there's a few things I could talk about in a minute about how the game went down. But, yeah, just really enjoyable to be with some really old mates and, you know, do that sort of make a day of it, have a barbie, roll down, watch a game, come out. You know, it was good. One of the best days we did it for me, to be honest. It was just such a good day.
Sounded like we had maybe the better of the crowd support. That's what it sounded like over the TV.
Oh, I reckon our fans are louder, but no, it was probably 70-30, 80-20 Panthers fans in the stadium. But our guys are louder. They, you know, they're concentrated into particular areas and they're loud. You know, so like pound for pound, we got the best fans. But I think it was about 18,000 there or something, and it's probably 4,000 Warriors or something. But certainly, I didn't feel hostile being in the crowd there. You know, I felt like, you know, there's plenty of our people there, definitely.
Yeah. you backed your chances.
Yeah.
I think we've got these guys. Shit, if shit goes down, I reckon.
I knew where I was going to run and hide.
Behind the big W.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, good times. Just such good quality. I mean, the Origin a few days earlier was dramatic, but I thought this was a far better standard of game and just finals intensity. The stats reflecting how close it was, but also how well both teams played. Like both completing at around 90%. That's outstanding. There's nothing in the main stats categories. It was tough footy, but there was flashes of brilliance on both sides of the ball. Some good tries scored, some good ones missed, great saves. It was edge of your seat stuff. I almost was jealous of a neutral getting to watch that and just enjoying it without the intensity of hanging on the result. But it was very cool. Thought we could have got it, and exciting for the end of the year. I did feel a little tinge of not quite being able to get them when they didn't have Cleary, Yo, and To'o. And I know we didn't have our Origin boys, but it's not the same. Our two and how important those three guys are to their team. So a little bit of a caveat there, but I also thought Penrith played incredibly well without those guys, and Colga was great. Alamotti had a bit of a mixed bag, but in the end got the chocolates with his 2 tries, and their forwards matched ours. And
Dylan Edwards,
it was great.
How did he latch on to Jacob Laban's heel like that? Like just locked onto his heel and stopped him.
Mate.
That was incredible.
That was running straight at me as well. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
That. Yeah.
You just about smell them.
But I think that point you made, Will, is a good one, because as much as I love what happened on the weekends, I do think so we can beat that Penrith team half the time, I reckon. Can we beat a Penrith team with Cleary in it half the time? On what I saw on the weekend, no, we can't. Right. So because there wasn't much in this, but I think Cleary changes the field position dynamic enough that it does change the game. And so we've still got some work to do if we're going to beat a full strength Penrith, because we aren't going to have Tanner Boyd, right? So give me Tanner Boyd and his kicking game, and give them Cleary and give us a little bit more growth in our squad. Then it's game on. But we're not going to get Tanner Boyd. I don't know whether we're going to get Metcalf, and if we do, whether he's going to be useful or not. So we still got some work to do if we're going to beat them with Cleary. But like I said, couldn't be happier with how the boys went.
And that was my thoughts. I was driving around, just heading to work, daydreaming about the game, and I was thinking, geez, our best chance to win the comp is for them to get tipped up by someone pre-final. At the moment, I'd hate to come into the grand final and play them. Martin got a try from bamboozling, was it Alamotti, by how short his kicking game is. Alamotti was back in the normal position for a long kick. And it's like almost he thought to himself, Jesus, is that as far? And got shocked and had to come forward to the kick of Martin's, which came Pereira. He dived on the messy bit and took a try. But there was some great Martin cutting through that gap to get Taupiki.
Oh, that was so class.
That was beautiful. Yeah. Another moment I loved was Harris Tavita just absolutely smoking Dylan Edwards just after Edwards had passed the ball and just cut him down. That would have been at your end again too, Fonz, was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's a question for you guys. So I came home and watched the whole game replay straight after I got back from the ground, but I was a bit how's your father?
One eye.
But what I couldn't understand is how the game opened up so much in the second half. So so in the first half, it was a tight Penrith strangling game, and we were, we could have been up at half time based on whether or not we took chances, but I thought the style of game was classic Penrith. In the second half, the game opened up. Now, that was partly because we were going wide early in our tackles and we were getting some of our small guys to approach yardage a bit differently. So I can understand that we changed, but it seemed like Penrith did as well. So Penrith were going wide earlier. Penrith were looking for gaps. Maybe we were compressing a lot. I don't know if any of you, and maybe any listeners can drop me a message or send us a message on one of the channels after to give us your thoughts on that, because it was a completely different game in the second half. And I know we adjusted to try and get out of the strangle, and I think it worked.
Yeah.
But I couldn't work out why Penrith had changed the way they were playing. It seemed like they copied us, and we ended up in this back and forwards beautiful game of footy. So, yeah.
Was beautiful. And still to have that completion rate at the end of all that, the way it opened up, and to still have a completion rate like that at the end, it was do you reckon, because they were starting to press us pretty hard in defense, weren't they? So we were slinging it wide just to try and get some meterage out of our end. Were we doing the same to them at the other end? And they were having to resort to that to get around us to get some meters down the field.
They did do a bit of it, didn't they? And they almost come unstuck a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're good at keeping the ball alive, aren't they? Couple of times where they just,
offloads killed us towards the end, I think.
Yeah, there were probably two things I thought Penrith did better than us in the game. One was I just thought their line speed was always a little bit quicker than ours. It was suffocating, especially in that first half, but probably through the whole game. Maybe three things, actually. I thought Cogger's kicking game was a little bit better than ours in terms of, I know the stats don't show it, but it just seemed that the game we were not moving quite like, we were catching the ball 10 metres further down than they were, and we were sort of a little bit more on the back foot on set starts. But the other thing was, Penrith, when we went wide, like in good ball, attacking, Penrith's edges just slid, and it never looked like our edges were going to break them. Like it just, because I was behind the post, I could see the edges moving, and it just never looked like our edges were going to have the strike and penetration to score. Like whenever we're throwing shape at them, it was just slide, and it's covered. And it feels like I kept sitting there. I'm not sure this is quite right, but I kept sitting there going, like the three man, like the third man in on our side needed to run straighter because it was drifting, and then the outsides were just getting shuffled. Whereas, Penrith, like you said, offloads and so on, and it just felt like their shape was troubling our outsides a little more than ours was troubling theirs, or our strike was troubling theirs. They were probably the only two things. But on the other hand, I felt like some of our forwards were like winning collision and wrestle and contact more than theirs were. And like Te Mare, just some of those sort of improv clutch plays were, like amazing. So that was kind of my sense. I was walking away going, we need to either improve the shape or improve the strike on the edges a little bit. And we've still got a little bit to go on line speed. But on the other hand, our forward pack is pretty damn good. Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about there. An oddity I noticed watching the highlights was they kicked for McLean on his side, and he jagged 2 tries out of it. But by the same token, we kicked to his side when we were down their end, and we nearly jagged 2 tries at it.
Yeah, got one. Almost should have had another.
Yeah, that was criminal. Leotawa being offside from that far out on attack.
Yeah,
but I just thought that was odd that we were they were kicking for the exact same side that we were targeting down the other end, knowing McLean's ability in the air. Yeah,
well, I think I've said it before on here. McLean is the best young back in the comp aside from Reece Walsh, in my opinion. I think he's contracted till 28. I reckon if I'm any first grade team, I'm looking to offer McLean 1.2 million in 29 to come and be your fullback, because I reckon he's going to be a fullback.
Oh, a fullback
when he comes to the end of this deal. I reckon he'll do centre for a few years and then move out to fullback for the big money. And we could do a lot worse than start trying to line that up and get him back as fullback, because he is a freak, mate. You see him on the field, like the way he moves. There's no one else like him.
Yeah. He's close. He's in the conversation for best centre in the game, and there's a lot of good ones at the moment. But he's been that good, and he was unbelievable against us the other night. In defence too, he was great. But some of the things he does with the ball, he's and it's just debuted in Origin. Everything's happening for him,
and he's 19. He's 19.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, it's just insane.
He's a level-headed kid too, isn't he?
It illustrated to me again, and I'm a big fan of it. Didn't have we had a terrible first half, but bounced back okay. Leotawa, big fan of some of the things he can do. Pompey, Mr. Reliable these days. But man, seeing McLean out there against us just solidified for me again my biggest bugbear, that we just haven't had a top class centre for so long. And you see what someone like McLean adds to Penrith, and the best centres in the game, Farnworth and co, add to their teams. And geez, I just love that in the 3 or 4 jersey, someone that brings that sort of influence and quality all the time.
Roger was building towards that.
He was
the last one. Joel Moon, I suppose. The last real good centre.
Yeah.
Did Laurie play much? Not Dane. Todd
Nielsen.
Todd Lowry. Did he play much at centre?
Todd Lowry.
Todd more your back row type. Yeah. I'm
just thinking of past greats.
We'll talk a bit about centres later, but we need. I don't know. It seems a bit thin again now with Roger there.
I agree. That's kind of what I was saying too. Like around that, when we're throwing that shape and they're just sliding. I think because they're not scared. Like they're not scared of what the center's going to do. So they just shuffle, and one-on-one's fine. So I think there's some truth in that. The other couple of notable mentions. So Tanner Stale-Smith, where I've been not critical, but just not particularly enthusiastic about where he's going. But man, I don't know if it's just because I'm watching him live now and I can see how he's moving. But he was unbelievable. And
his footwork's incredible.
Yeah, the footwork. That's not been there. Like that's come. Like he reminds me of, the way Adam Fanua-Blake sort of has late footwork at the line that slides into a crease. You know what I mean? Like he's. I'm not saying he's Adam Fanua-Blake, but he does a bit of that. But it's also he just has this instinct into how to run into space. You know what I mean? So you're sitting there and we're watching high, and there's like a little pocket behind the ruck where there's a bit of room, and next carry is Tanner Stale-Smith straight into that pocket. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure Wado's pushing him there, but he just seems to know how to find the space. And he's got a bit bigger, and with the footwork, he's a serious player, man.
Yeah. He's like Adam Blair almost on the way his footwork's going there. How much first receiver did Fish do down in that second half too? There was one set where he that first receiver passing the ball on for every play in the set.
New Arthur Beetson. Stale-Smith, just on him again. I know that not many people will agree with this, but I'm not convinced that we're better with Barnett coming back in for him. That's how well Stale-Smith is going. And I'd put him up there performance-wise with what Vaimonga's doing for us. Like I think he's almost had a better season. And he came back last week, was outstanding. He'd had a 6-week layoff and has just hit the ground running again. Every time he's taken the field this year, from the first trials where he's our best player, he's been absolutely outstanding. And man, what a bonus with, obviously the Barnett heading off was a bit of a blow at the start of the year. Now it's almost an afterthought because we've got so many good young props. So that's our 4-man rotation next year: Ford, Fisher Harris, Stow Smith, Valmonga. It's close to the best in the game for 2027.
Yeah. I was thinking that earlier today. I don't think there's too many people you need. Like if anyone left that 4-pack, and we'll probably touch on, I think we're going to touch on retention and who we should sign and that later. But isn't it nice? We don't actually, if anyone left, we don't have to go chasing out or rushing to fill any spots, because these young fellas, Jacob Laban, he is growing into a beast, reliable beast as well. It's so
He's
nice.
been great the last 2 weeks.
The backline's still got a lot of work to be done, but it's on the back of the forward pack we've got this year that they've been able to score the points they had. It's easily the best pack in the comp, easily.
And just on that backline, maintain, I know that I've been pushing his barrow for a long time, but I wasn't quite sure if he was going to get there. I was probably expecting a bit more when he got that run of it earlier in the year. I think he's grown an extra leg the last few weeks and has put a stamp on it. Obviously plays his own game, and just some of the he's playing to his strengths. And now I've seen a couple of kick return line breaks in the past 2 weeks, which would that's sort of new. Seeing him in the clear, he's pushing up and sniping. He's constantly around the ball, and he's racking up some big meters that way.
It's starting to produce the form.
Points. Yeah.
Starting to produce a form that won him the Queensland Cup Player of the Year, eh? Like, it was hard to imagine Harry got that award. Was it Queensland Cup he got the Player of the Year before coming here?
Yeah.
And it was, for me, hard to imagine Harry got that award knowing what's getting around in that comp. But now that he's got a bit of comfort about being in the side, you can see why he was the best player going around.
He's definitely made strides. There's no doubt about it. I'm still not. You still got a bit.
No, I don't.
I still feel like he sort of pushes us a bit sideways when he chimes in, and but he's definitely coming along. He's coming along for sure.
Given how the season's unfolded, how he is improving, obviously Chance's injury problems. Do you think Tane has kind of got that jersey for the rest of the year now? Or?
I think he's got it. He's got it until he doesn't deserve it. Yeah. It's his jersey now. Yeah. If he has 2-3 bad games in a row, he might get dropped. But it's his to lose.
Yeah.
Now the big question, I know we're on a bit of a time thing here, and we've got some questions. So dust off the mailbag. Still, the biggest question around the team is the situation at halfback. No Tanner Boyd, Tamati Martin playing really well. Does have limitations with his kicking game, but he's had 3 superb games in a row in other facets. Luke Metcalf making his return in New South Wales Cup on the weekend. How's it going to unfold? What are they going to do? Does Tamate have that that jersey until he doesn't deserve it? Or is Webster think he's going to pull the trigger and think if we're going to contend for the premiership, we need Metcalf there? What's your feeling, boys?
Fonzie?
Mate, this is hard, right? So it was definitely noticeable to me at the ground on the weekend that our long kicks weren't long enough. And that, again, let's be straightforward here. We're aiming here to win this comp. I think from here, the aim is to finish second and then take Penrith on in a GF. That's the goal here, I think. So I was looking at that going, our kicking game is barely keeping us in the set for set contest here, and they don't have Cleary. We need either Temare and CHT need to get better at their long kicks, or we need Metcalf if we think he's better at long kicks. But I mean, Will, I don't know if you've had any mail on where Metcalf's at, because I'm still, you and I are probably you're a bit more charitable to him, let's say, and I'm a bit more disappointed in him. I mean, do you have any mail on whether he's here to actually play this year? I mean, what's going on? He wasn't that great in Cup.
No, he wasn't.
No, yeah. So I only saw some highlights. He had 3 line break assists. Seemed to do the bulk of the kicking. Took over the goal kicking, which I found interesting. I'm sure that Jet Cleary is a better goal kicker. Seemed to do the bulk of the kicking by the look of the stats. Not too much from the running department. Didn't look like he had a great day in defence, judging on the stats. But again, I'm just looking at the stat lines and the highlights. But yeah, I mean, you know, it is his first game in some time. And yeah, and by the way, being charitable, I'm probably more charitable to his, you know, possible mental state, but I'm not overly enthused about bringing him back into the team. I quite happily draw a line through him too. Whereas you know, probably if he's up for it, you probably, you know, prefer to have him in the team. But yeah, no, I haven't heard anything else. I'm sure we can only take it at face value of what Andrew Webster said, and he's, you know, still out there doing his club duties. He was out there with Rocco a couple of weeks ago out at one of the schools in Auckland, doing their stuff there. So I don't know. I kind of think maybe I feel like it would have happened by now if it was going to happen, the early release, or, you know, but you know, he's still not even June 30, so still could pop up somewhere else. I don't know. It's as fascinating now as it was when it started. What's actually going to unfold, and you know, injury or whatever might force someone's hand. But at the moment, I kind of think they're going to keep rolling with Tamata, even though that kicking game scenario is holding us back a bit. But comments yesterday on one of TWL's posts just about around the hooker injury, which we will get to, Sam Healy, but you know, about how to bring Metcalf in, and people are saying put him on the bench and then, you know, chuck him on for the last 20 and shift someone else to hooker, but I don't see that being, you know, particularly feasible either. So yeah, I don't know whether he just sits on that 6-man bench or
I mean, my opinion hasn't changed. If he has his head in the game, and I'm not convinced he does, but if he has his head in the game, I don't think we're beating that Penrith team with Te Mare and CHT in the halves. So I think you got to bring Metcalf in. He's going to give you that extra long kick. None of the clutch, like Te Mare is just like a canny, clutchy player, right? But there's if you actually break the skills down and the things Te Mare can do and the things Metcalf can do more things, I think, out of 7. And
that's exactly what I was about to talk about, Fonz. In the wake of the loss, I was thinking to myself, what can we do to change this side come grand final time? And the first thing I thought of was an informed Metcalf, working his way back in the team, mind you. But an informed Metcalf, those Daily M, whatever, how he was playing last year, him in the final could be a bit of an X factor or a difference that might upset what Penrith do.
That's where I'm at. Nothing against Te Mare at all. No. I love him, but I just if I'm trying to look at, we're going to have to lift another notch, you know. So is Te Mare and CHD going to grow that notch, or are we going to have to put Metcalf in? Because I know he's got that notch. If he can make his tackles, you know, that's the other side of the ball. If he can make his tackles, I think he's got it. So that's probably where I'm at. I know, Will, where are you?
We had a 50%. He had a 50% completion rate with tackles last weekend, didn't he? Made 7 and missed.
That's what I mean. So that's mental. You're at 50% because you're mentally not there.
Well, that's one part of it. I think that I'm dubious about him being able to get back to his mid 2025 level anyway. From a physical point of view, from a mental point of view, from the fact that he's leaving, and I'm probably a bit closer to, you know, thinking that Tamate doesn't offer that much less than Metcalf overall with his full package. I think he's done coming in pretty cold himself off a broken leg. He's come in, he's scored what, 3 tries. He's got 3 or 4 try assists and done some pretty brilliant things, and can tackle the house down. Geez, I just wish he could kick the ball 10 meters further.
No, I'd way prefer to give Martin a grand final medal as opposed to Metcalf.
That honestly will stick in my craw. I'm sure it won't by grand final day, but thinking about it now, and Luke Metcalf showboating around. Good luck to him. And if he was part of it, he's obviously a big part of it and a big reason why we would win it. But geez, it doesn't quite hit the same as if he was staying for another few years.
No, Dragons are on the up though, no, Matt. They're on an unbeaten run now. They've won one in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you try and head over, get on that bandwagon for the rest of the year. But yeah, still fascinating. Still a few twists and turns to come. I don't really see them changing it anytime soon because Tamati is playing exceptionally well. I mean, he hasn't been kicking poorly. He just hasn't been kicking that far.
Gee, he takes some good options. Yeah, when he gets 40, 30 meters out, he's the perfect man for the job. When we're 60 meters out and need to get down the other end, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit.
Well, it almost won us. His bad kicking game almost won us the game because the shin kick for Loffy's try, and then he got rushed and then ran the ball. That on the last setup, just about set up like the try that Laban didn't get. But
well, was the one on the 5th, wasn't it, where they come through the middle of the field? Yeah, no, great. I don't want Metcalf in there.
Well, should we get into some of these questions? Yeah, sweet. I'm going to pick this one up because it sort of follows on from what we've been talking about and the few spots that aren't quite locked in for the rest of the year, despite us playing so well and being so right in this premiership mix. This is one of Zam Pryor's questions. Ali had a bit of a shocker defensively and found out by McLean a number of times on the weekend. Just on there, I thought that was in second game in a row, but just really bad defensive decisions. I don't, think it was necessarily McLean being so amazing. That was just a bad read, and he did it against the Dragons too. But following on, this is Zan's words again, but I wholeheartedly agree. We know Webby has a berry boner. Do you think that provided he stays healthy, Rocco could be back in that right centre spot come the end of the year? That Fonz has had a bit of a half chub for Berry over the years too, whereas me and Brad are probably a bit more flaccid for Rocco.
I came right. You answer this, Fonz. I don't mind Berry, and I'd take a Berry over a Leotawa. Leotawa just looks a bit slow, and it's like the Earnslaw trying to turn around sometimes. It just starts swinging on that wheel, and everything's happened. What do you think, Fonz?
Well, there's an issue with defensive reads. I didn't see it on the weekend, but there's been issues with defensive contact, right? Arm pulling and stuff in games earlier this year.
He's been better lately, I think.
I agree with that. In contact, he has. There's been issues with kick chase and effort, right? Now that Laban try, that was down his side, wasn't it? Yeah. So where was he? Right. So how's the second row? Where's the center? Having a freaking breather down the back. Sure.
Because Loffy should have been there too, and he's the fastest player in the game.
Loffy should have been there too. No, that's fair. Like I say about both of them, right? But where is he? So There's a question around effort. There's a question around defence. On the other hand, there were a couple of scramble tackles he made that were really good on the weekend. I remember noticing that. There was a couple of sort of clean-up tackles he made. He definitely is a physical presence in a carry. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if he's just a back rower.
You just saw an opening at centre because I'm not going to pass Becker and Laban.
In 2 years, you just move him in, right? Because he's got a more defined role then, and he's going to sort the defence out regardless. But maybe if kick chase and backing up tries isn't his thing, maybe he plays a bit tighter. I don't know, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced he's the guy. But he could be. He could be if he sorts things out. Like Webby has a knack of getting players to improve. As for Berry, I mean, let's not even talk about him till he's done 3 games in a row at some level. I just don't think it's, I think.
And if he comes right, I think it'll be more important to Webby the kick chase and those effort areas like that for the team as opposed to Leia. What does Leotawa have over Rocco? Is it just his attack?
Yeah, I think the fact that he can do something like Berry. theory has got to be the most pedestrian attacking centre in the
Yeah.
NRL. Like that is my honest opinion, and that he would, he's a good system centre, like it when he was playing on the edge with SJ and Dallin outside him, and Charms was chiming in, but I don't know, outside something like that, I don't think he has
Well, I
much
mean,
to.
I think Leitao is, he's almost, he's in a handful of centres in the NRL who just through his physical carry, like the mix of speed and size and agility is, a genuine threat carrying the ball. I mean, that's what he's got. Yeah.
Another guy that I don't know if he would come into the centre mix this year, might sort of take an injury or two, but geez, Jai Linane again, blinder on that, and that was his first game in like thousands of days. Quiet second game in the wet against the Dragons in the wet, then exploded again last week. 18 runs, 186 meters. He blazed away for a try, set up one. He's pretty, and he's unbelievably quick. So you know how much I have a jonesing for some more pace. Loffy is kind of sated that a bit, but man, didn't expect this either because he came here as a half. But he's carving. He reminds me of those sort of lean, quick Cowboys outside backs. You Purdue's and Labits and Chesters, that style of centre. But they could do worse and give them a crack, I reckon, based on what we've seen so far.
That's not a bad shout at all. I'm looking forward to how he grows, because he was coming pretty under the radar because he was injured. Everyone was talking about Jet Cleary and Harry Inch and all these other, because he's known more so for his in the halves, isn't he, as opposed to centre. And then he's been chucked in there. Oh, he's going great guns at the moment. Hopefully, it could
exciting.
be a nice little story.
If he does end up in the halves.
Is he a bit small for first grade centre when you've already got Loffy and Dal there? Like, is it starting to become just crazy small ball out the back?
Maybe, but he's I haven't seen enough of those games, but those numbers are pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like he is playing against men.
Looking at him, you're right though, Fonz. He does look pretty slight for that position, but geez, he's 182 meters off 18 runs. It's pretty hard to ignore.
And an exciting sort of attribute to have if he comes in. Like, he's obviously a very good half, and if he comes into that mix with someone with that much pace and in a running game like that, that's mouthful.
We had this guy last year. What was his name? Metcalf. He was pretty good as well. I don't know what happened. He sort of just faded out a bit, but
I reckon that Metcalf bloke might want to talk to that Linane bloke about how you come back from an ACL. But anyway,
you should play 7, Jai. You should play. Tell them you want to play 7.
Yeah. I'm playing 3 or I'm quitting. Anyway.
Get back to these questions, boys. Another one from Zan. I feel like Jacob Laban's really stepped up the last few weeks. Game time's increased, obviously. Capewell's been away for a couple of weeks. A player that thrives on confidence. With Lecker being a bit quiet last month or so, do you see Laban holding a spot in the starting side when Capewell returns? Lecker shifting back to that X factor off the bench. Yeah, that's how they started the year. And
that's what I do.
I think on form, Laban has earned that over Lecker. As much as I love Lecker and want him out there, Laban's just been eating it up the last couple of weeks. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, and if they don't sign a Capewell, we've got a ready-made replacement, haven't we? He's not getting the fanfare he probably deserves. Jacob gets it done and getting better, and they rely on him a bit more during the game now too. The ball goes to him a bit more, and the play sort of revolves around Laban a bit more each game. So good on you, Jake.
That brings us to the Capewell question, surely, Will. But,
And, Brad Enger's league wrap up. Catch his podcast every Wednesday night on New Zealand Sport Radio. Great stuff. Kurt Capewell off contract into 26. Would you be looking to extend him or let him go? It's a tough one for me because we've got so many young back rowers. Like Bishop Neal is absolutely crushing it.
Do you reckon Bishop is Neil ready next year though? Do you reckon?
No. Well, I don't know. if he was 19 and doing these exact same things, I'd be like, he'll be ready to come in. I think just the fact that he's 17, they will keep holding him back. Yeah, insane. Hey?
So I don't have him on my, because I was thinking the same thing. Like he's doing the things, but I just can't put him in my 2027.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But but Fatialofa I was probably a bit surprised that they didn't give him a crack. Maybe it was the magnitude of the game that Nukore was got the nudge, although I think he has been going well in New South Wales Cup. But Fatialofa's knocking on the door. It is interesting how the New South Wales Cup team has often, like Neil lurks on the wing. He scored a try on the wing, and Fatialofa does it too. It's an interesting little game plan that they roll. I only noticed it sort of in the highlights there. But
was that coming out of yardage? Was that coming out of yardage, or was it?
Yeah, well, do you see them make breaks often from their own half too? But
because it's actually the same in first grade. So we play our back rows on the wing coming out of yardage.
Do we?
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Just the New South Wales Cup, they make 60-meter breaks.
Yeah. It happens more often because there's more space. But no, because you've got your wingers and your centers doing yardage carry, and so your back row slides out to the wing on 1 to 3. So remember that Tigers game when Lecker ran 80 meters out of yardage. Yeah, it's just the way we structure it. Most teams do it these days. But it's just in Cup you notice it more because there's more openings and they actually do things with it.
Where do you sit on Capewell, Fonz?
Well, I mean, okay, so what it comes down to is, we've got Laban, we've got Halasima, clearly both first graders. You've got Fatialofa, question mark, probably a first grader. Are you happy going into 2027 with just that? Because there's no one else that I can see. Maybe Eddie can do some time on the edge, but not really. Gannon seems to have fallen off a cliff. So what do you got, right? So I'm looking at that going, I'd love to have Capes for another year if I could afford it.
Yeah, same. Talent-wise, like I'm more than comfortable with who we've got coming through. And, I can imagine, these guys getting a little frustrated, but from a kind of experience and leadership, and Capewell does a lot of stuff that these young guys just, aren't mature enough to do, the cleanup work, and all that sort of thing. The 1%ers that, Capewell is more than the numbers on the stat sheet at the end of the day. But the fact that Barnett, Nukore, and Roger are already going, that's 3 of our 30-year-olds, 30-pluses heading out the door. If Capewell goes too, suddenly it seems like a very young squad and, potentially a bit of a leadership vacuum. So I would be, I think that's a factor for me in re-signing.
For the exact same reason. Plus, I'd like him
not two,
around.
just one.
Not two, no. I think, it's just the one. Hopefully he would like to stay around for one more because for that very reason, the experience that he brings in that pack. Can't lose Barnett and him out of there at the moment.
Because if you lose one of Laban or Halasima to injury, then you're talking about playing Fatialofa for 80 minutes, and or bringing an absolute kid up like Neil, or putting Eddie, who I think's been groomed for middle, into the edge, right? So I just reckon we're a back row short, and Capewell's the answer if we can hold him.
I'm still not sure about Eddie. I'm still not sure. I think there might be a couple of kids that leapfrog him in 18 months.
Yeah, he hasn't kicked on quite. I was a huge fan. I thought he did really well in his handful of games last year and just hasn't quite kicked on. A couple of injuries, that HIA against the Dragons was unfortunate.
He's solid. He's a solid player. But I think for the pack we're running out there, I think there's other kids that are going to jump him. Yeah.
Shippy on Twitter said, with Healy out for a bit and Egan in possible state of origin contention, a bit to unpack there. What would your hooker rotation look like? Makaya Tafua, Limukias Jr., carving up New South Wales Cup. He's next man up, but would there be any thought if the game was going well to put, as we sort of touched on before, CHT or Tomato Mountain to 9, Metcalf to 6 or 7? I don't think they do that. But, first of all, say Egan gets, first of all, Healy is out. So next game up against Cronulla, ironically, Blake Brayley will be out, broken arm. That potentially brings Egan into the origin
I think it will.
I think Api Coruscant.
I think they'll go Api.
Yeah, I think they will. But he's certainly in contention. But either way, you need a second hooker on the bench, and sure, Tafua is on that 6-man bench. Will he be getting a debut next weekend, do you think?
Well, but I think the question is, let's say Egan does get called up, so then it's not just like, so he will get. I think he will get a debut that week if Egan is playing. I think he will. But let's say Egan gets called up, then what do you do? Because pretty thin options on the.
He has to start, really.
He has
to. But you can't rely on him playing 80. You got to have a plan where somebody else does some hooker work, right?
So then maybe you would have Metcalf in there and then chuck Tamati, who is did a pretty good job as your hooker relief last year. Played bigger minutes than Healy. Yeah,
would they carry an extra back row? Oh no, you can't do that. Aaron Clark is far too good to put back into the hooking area, isn't he? No,
I think he's too out of practice. Yeah, he's too burly as well now these days. The next one he's played a bit of I don't know if you could like outside the top 30 and all that, but I think the next one just in your line of hookers, another Linwood Keys junior, and he's played a little bit of cup. Amasio Tieter, he scores a lot of tries in Jersey Flegg. I think he started the year in SG Ball, but he's a good young player too. So they can breed a hooker down here.
Is it? Sorry, remind me his name. Is it Tafua?
McLeod Tafua.
Yeah. So who's his rotation with? Because I thought I seen a hooker he rotated with the other weekend come on just as strong, almost looked identical to him.
In Cup.
In Cup, yeah. There was a guy that swapped out because I don't think he plays 80 minutes in Cup either, does he? There was another
he did on the weekend.
Did he?
It could have been Tia if it was a few weeks ago.
There was another one that looked like a carbon copy of him. Come on, and he was a gun as well. What do you do? I honestly don't think when Brayley got injured in the weekend. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to lose. I call him Wado. I don't want to lose Wado to New South Wales. And I remembered pre-game before that first Origin game the other week, Laurie Daly was talking about how he wanted a kicking hooker during the game. That was part of his game plan. And then if that's what he's still looking for, that deletes Egan from the equation straight away to go to Api.
Geez, you're coming in with some good research this week, Brett. I'm highly impressed.
I've been taking on a bit, mate. I'm not as stupid as Fonz looks, mate.
You must have been sending him some of those beers you've been getting on the Friday ones.
But that was, that's a shame for Wade, though. I'd love to see him get a New South Wales jersey. But
I reckon he will, is my sense, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Will. It's got to be Tim Murray. There's no one else who's the and then that does bring Metcalf in, which brings in a whole lip drop issue in the squad where we're taking the 7 out and putting anyway. So that could get messy. If I'm honest, it's a good question. Very good question.
We don't have a lot of time left, so we're going to go out with Levon Snow's one. What are the Warriors' top 3 things that we need to win a premiership this year? Is nailing down who is the 7 for the rest of the year the most important. He's also said, love the podcast. I've been listening to Fonzie religiously since 2020. Love your work, brothers. Well, Brad and I have been going since 2019. There's no mention of religiously listening to us, but happy to piggyback on Fonz's. Fonz's
got us half a dozen extra listeners, didn't it, old Fonz? Get Fonz on board.
Thanks, Levon. Love your support. What are those things, and is that number 7 scenario the most important?
There's no point me answering this to take us out, Fonz. You know more about the game.
Okay, so I think if someone can smack Metcalf around the chops and get his head in, I think we do need him because of his slightly better long kicking game, and at his best, if you can learn to make his tackles post ACL, at his best, he does give us a point of difference that can beat Penrith with clearing. So I think that's one. We need to find some, I don't know, strikes. I don't think it's shape. I think it's we don't. Our centers at the moment just aren't I think Leotao's maybe, I don't know if it's slow or what, but we just don't seem to cause good opposition to make defensive errors when we shift. And so we've got to find something there, but I don't know what that is. I don't know how we find that. But then the third thing I think is just there's probably a little bit more growth in the middles. So our forward pack is amazing already, but I think there's a little bit more growth in that, right? So let's say we can't quite get the 7 to be as good as Nathan Cleary, and let's say we can't quite get the centres to be as good as some of the best. But I think this forward pack has a little bit more growth, whether that's ball playing, whether that's the way they synchronise their carries and all the rest of it, and their line speed, where we might be able to compensate if we can't quite do the other things. So that's probably what I would say are the 3 things. Based on that, I don't know. What do you reckon, Will?
Yeah, no, I love all 3 of those answers. Couldn't have come up with them myself, but yeah, that all sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, I think one thing that's been overlooked is we haven't been able to run out the same lineup week to week all that often. String and settling on a lineup will be huge for the rest of the year. Hopefully, we can keep our guys fit and locked in. I think we'll see a bit more improvement and on what has been an outstanding start to the year, like 9-3. How good. None of us thought that we were going to be here now, and we're all like, tread water until Metcalf and Barnett are back from injury, and those 2 have not really played that big of a role in the season. And and our halfback that came in,
third choice,
did a sensational job, has already gone down, and we're still killing it. So, exciting times.
Good time to be a supporter. Very, very good time to be a supporter.
Yeah.
Oh, good shit. How'd we go? You've got a meeting to attend, don't you, Will?
Yeah, I got an interview to do, so I better wrap this up. But good work, boys. Enjoy the rest of your bye week. I've enjoyed a bit of just the glare of live podcasting, the pressure, teeing up that team list. It's not dry, not loading up on this side of the internet. And,
it's not as simple as we make it look, eh?
Yeah. We'll be back on Tuesday live again for team list ahead of the Cronulla game. Normal programming resuming. And, looking forward to it. I'm heading to that Cronulla game actually, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Cool. So hopefully might catch some of you folk for a beer, Lily World or something. But plenty more to come before then. And thanks to you boys, PlaceMakers, Kingz Container Crew.
Kingz boys. Cheers, Kingz boys.
Yeah. Paid subscribers, especially you bloody legends and our founding members, our lifers. Love your work. Get in there, share, like, subscribe. Do all those things. And we'll love you for it. Until next time, look after yourselves and each other.